Hello guys, welcome to Tech Plus Lab, and today we're going to take a look at this 5-in-1 magic brush. It is what it is, and it is actually a electric scrubbing brush powered by either battery or USB. In this case I have a USB powered one. It comes with a rechargeable battery and it is used to scrub the things that you'd otherwise use your hand for. This is pretty cheap on AliExpress. Its listed price is around $12, but you know AliExpress, you can use a lot of coupons there, and by clubbing coupons and the additional seller discounts, store discounts and other discounts like coins, etc., you can actually get this one pretty cheap and way below $10. However, I bought this locally because I got a better deal and I don't have to wait for that long, so I think it's worth a little bit more. You're expecting me to show you everything that I do with this one, like its working capacity and all, then I'm not gonna do this because it's actually gross to show you the scrubbing stuff. Instead, this is more like a teardown review video, so to see how well it's actually made. But if you're still wondering, it in fact does have the enough power to scrub away the dirt and stuck on debris, etc., from your dishes or floor, or grooves in the tiles, etc. It also comes with a polishing buff and a sponge, which is a two-in-one brush kind of thing in this case, which is used to buff away the wax or stuff. I use this for that and it worked a lot better than using your regular hand alone. Of course, this is not going to replace your handheld portable polisher or something like that, but it does a pretty good job and it's actually better than what I expected for that. But if you'd like to get this one, then I do recommend you getting this from China directly, because a lot of sellers there are including a lot of other brushes, including the corner brush, the steel wool and hard sponge brushes, which are really useful. A full set of those actually cost much less than your typical Scotch Brite brushes, so I think this is a steal. It's like $3 for a pack of 5 brushes, which is really cheap. It does have the charging port in the bottom and the battery compartment is in the handle position, and so is the switch, of course. It is powered by a decent sized motor and a gearbox to increase the torque. Honestly, I expected this to have a toy DC motor like you find in remote cars and stuff like that, but this is much better motor. It looks like a 550 or 555 motor, but I'm not sure. I didn't measure this one. And it's also surprisingly well made. The plastic quality isn't something great, but for this price point you're getting proper O seals, or sorry, you're getting proper O-rings for every seal. These O-rings are the same ones that we use usually in plumbing and water taps, etc. You might have already known this. They provide a proper watertight seal for even for pressure washers, so there should be no worries about getting water into the machine while washing, except for the head part where there is a little gap, but that's not a big issue because most electronics are in the handle itself. It also comes with a double-sided tape for a wall hook. Inclusion of wall hook is really good because wall hook is pretty useful in this case to hang this one onto the wall. Basically, the double-sided tape sticks really well to tiles, etc., in the kitchen or in the bathroom, so that's a nice inclusion. When you unscrew the bottom part, you can see the charging port, LED indicator and 2 screws holding the compartment together. What surprised me is that there is actually what looks like a dedicated removable battery compartment, which is not really what I expected at this price point. But unfortunately, the wires were too short, so I can't really pull the battery out. But you can unscrew this at different places, at the tail, in the middle and also near the head. So you can get full access to everything in this one, the motor and the PCB. So we're going to take a look at that. So now, as you can see from these videos, this is actually not a bad design. First of all, it's really well protected from water, and then it has a detachable battery support. But there is a problem here. Looking at the ICs, I found that it has a single 4056 IC. This is a very typical IC that does not provide any battery protection. This IC only protects the battery while charging. So its only function is to provide proper current for the battery to charge and to let you know when the battery finished charging. But it does not have any overcharge or over discharge protection, which are usually integrated into battery protection circuits or battery management systems. But this one is only a charge circuit. One good thing is that you cannot really put too much force on the motor, because when it reaches a certain amount of torque it actually stops. This can be done through the gearbox or through the battery management system through using utilizing MOSFETs and stuff like that. But I think they actually utilize the MOSFETs. I can see two MOSFETs here, but I didn't really dig deep into this because anyway it doesn't have a proper battery protection system, so that's not really the point. But this helps the motor from burning out. I extended the wires near the motor connection so I can pull out the battery tray. So I did that and I completely discharged the battery and recharged it to measure the capacity, and it turned out to be approximately 1400 mAh. So maybe this battery is around 1200 or 1800 mAh, because the capacity measurement on these chargers is not really accurate. So again, that's not bad for this price point. I mean, I have seen worse where the sellers actually included a maybe 600 mAh batteries or something like that, but here it's okay. One more thing is that the indicator light is hidden under the bottom screw, so even if it has an indication, you won't be able to know when the battery is low. So even if the battery included is a good one, it'll lose its life much sooner. Its lifespan is going to be very less, and it's actually not a good idea to run it like this. This is especially true for lithium ion batteries. They should never be over discharged, but in this case you will never know when the battery is low, so you are definitely going to over discharge it. Except for that one thing, I do like everything about this particular product. It is cheap, yes, but everything else is really well made. Look at the compartment of the battery. It stays fit in the handle and it does not move at all. There is no rattle sounds. The battery capacity is fine. Even the switches were well made. Those switches can handle enough power, and they were actually made to handle up to 6 amps, which is too much for this motor. And the motor is actually decent and it's really waterproof. Like the o-rings do their thing, and the screw system is really nice. You can disassemble it, almost every part of it. I didn't remove the gearbox because in these cases the gearboxes were not really well made, and if I lose a simple plastic part in there, then it's gonna be a hell to reassemble or to find the particular part. So I didn't do that, but it is doing its job, and it also has a good torque for scrubbing things. But this battery management system is really bad. In fact, it doesn't have a proper battery management system, so that's one big disappointment. Simple thing that you can do to fix this is to buy a protected battery cell that has a all battery protection included in a tiny chip that's under the battery, and luckily it does come with a detachable case, so you can actually remove the old battery and replace it. If you just solder new a bit lengthy wires, you can do that. That's the simplest way you can actually use this one. So the other way around is going to be perfect, but it's going to be a little bit tricky. It is to get a single cell battery management system board. It's a little module that you can attach onto back of the compartment. There is enough space for that too. So with that you can actually make this one perfect. But as I told you earlier, the simplest way will be to just get a protected cell and install it in here. So what I'm going to tell you is, if you are the kind of person who just wants to buy this one and use it, then I don't actually recommend this one to you. But if you actually are okay with doing a little bit tweaking, then I do recommend getting this one, just because it is well designed and it is actually working as expected. But if you already bought it and you don't want to tweak anything, then my suggestion is to charge this more frequently than you actually want to. By charging this more frequently, like after a couple of uses or something like that, even for a little time like half an hour or so, you will not risk over discharging the battery, and it will last you a little bit longer than it is. If this information helps some of you guys, and you'll make a better decision out of this. Thank you for watching.